And they're off away, and blowing the start was Royal Marine. Bedouin Story not fast away either. Chichester driven along on the far side by Holly Doyle in the early stages. Far side John Baptiste is the early leader for Marie's Diamond, and Indeed over there with Anything Today. And Irish Admiral is prominent as well. Towards the stand side going forward, Long Tradition Blue with the white cap. Uncle Bryn is close on the pace as well. Just in behind them is Ropey Guest and Naval Commander. And then towards the outside of these is Anmart as they race on through the first quarter mile and heading now towards the 6 furlong marker. And on the far side, it's John Baptiste that leads the way with close-up Irish Admiral. Chasing them is Indeed over there, and also Fastnet Crown is amongst those leaders. Bell Rock on that far side as well from Anything Today. Chichester at the back of that group, and in that group too on the far side is Trey Fleur. As they run down the stand side, it's still up in the lead. Long Tradition, Magical Morning in a good position with Uncle Bryn, the stable companion from Ropey Guest. And then further back in the field then to Naval Commander, Anmart with every chance on the outside, Amethyst and Lucanda. And then behind these is Royal Marine. And then on the outside of these, at the back, Baltic Baron as they race on now, passing the 3 furlong marker in the Cambridgeshire. So on the stand side, coming through, Uncle Bryn is just about taking it up with Long Tradition and Anmart. Those are the front 3 on the stand side. On the far side is John Baptiste still with Marie's Diamond, Irish Admiral, and down the centre running on his Fastnet Crown as they race inside the final furlong. Far side, Marie's Diamond probably in front, Fastnet Crown on the near side. Coming through, Bedouin Story very late in the first colours of Godolphin. Bedouin Story has snatched the Cambridgeshire. Anmart in second, Amethyst, far side Zima's doing very well as well.
The Bet365 Cambridgeshire has gone to Jamie Spencer on board Bedouin Story for Saeed bin Suroor. Congratulations. This horse, perhaps they're not the most straightforward, would that be fair?
He can be a little bit slow from the gate, so he puts himself back towards the second half of the field. So, yeah, he needs a lot to go right from there, but straight 9 furlongs, good pace, and everything seemed to work out. At no stage did I get stopped, and that's the key to this race. You just need a lucky run through or you need a Lord North.
Yeah, one of the two things. Your draw, looking at how things were panning out in the previous races, what did you think of it in light of that?
Well, obviously the favourite was beside me. Frankie was high, Robert Havlin was high. All the fancy ones I felt were the dangers were high. So, I took the blind off as they said, but he was slow into stride, and it suited the beast stand side.
And the pace, this is the kind of race that is forgiving to that kind of slow start.
Yeah, but as I say, you just need it to go very smoothly. Andrea and Martin Harley were in tight quarters on the rail around 3 pole, and I decided to give them up and go after David Probert. Felt he was going to bring me into the race, and it was I'm actually hoarse because I was screaming at Frankie I won't say on TV what I was saying to him, but
move out of the way.
Yeah, in a maybe more colourful manner. As you can see, he moves his head around. He said he didn't know whether I was on his left or his right. So that was the only time I was a little bit concerned, going between Frankie and David Probert, that he didn't switch back out when Jim went around him. But after that, he showed a really good turn of foot, and you'll see he pulled up and he got there. And once we went by the line, he was stopped in 3 strides. So he's I suppose it's enjoyable to ride, and it's like a puzzle, I suppose.
Enjoyable because it's a challenge to get it absolutely right.
Yeah. And the more I was taking him back at the half mile pole, the more eager he wanted to go into the race. And some of you chased him in the middle of the race. So it was good, worked out well.
Perfectly executed. Now, looking back at the middle park, I was wondering in the closing stages whether you were slightly tightened up on Castle Star, or was it not significant from your perspective?
There's 2 ways of looking at it. The winner was out in the middle of the track and got a clear run. But as history over the years, you'll see this track being away from the rail is a disadvantage. So the fact I was down the fence, I followed through asymmetric, and then I had to fight for the gap with the Clive Cox horse. And it took me probably from just inside the furlong pole to well inside the last half to get through the gap. And I think it's testament to my horse's bravery that he got through the gap, and I just didn't have time to respond or even give him a smack by the time I got out of the gap. Christoph was coming with a wet sail down the outside, and maybe he looked snug at the line, but I'd like to have another go at him. I felt that the way my horse went through the race, you'll see he was cruising and showed a lot of class because the pace really hotted up, and it'll be interesting to see the sections around 3.5. The pace really went into the race, and he found it easy to go through them. But this is a difficult track because the contours of it, the ridges, when you're covered up, your horse can't see the ground, and that's why sometimes it suits leaders, because the horse is able to grade the gradients and watch where he's putting his feet. Where you see my horse, when Pat Dawes moves out, he pitched a bit, and it took me a few strides to get him back level. I'm looking forward to him next year. I think I'd like to have another goal at the winner on a track like Ascot, because I think it would suit my horse. Strong traveller, and it's easier to play your cards at Ascot. If we were racing down the middle today, there's a lot less risk. After going a furlong, the percentages were against me. I'm on the fence, and they're decent horses that are not going to be dropping back like in other races, in handicaps, for example. So there was still a wall of horses at the furlong pole, and yeah, I got the gap, but I think my horse did good, and I think there'll be another day in him.
I'm getting the Commonwealth Cup vibe. This is a sprinter, isn't he, for next season?
Yeah, he's a fast horse. Yeah. Well, you see when Hugo Palmer's horse won in Ireland, I felt that horse had the advantage of the rail in Ireland. My horse didn't. He was out in the middle of the track to challenge, and there's no criticism of Chris. It was just the way where he was drawn and where he challenged. So he was drawn on the outside that day. I felt that he could have won if he had a better draw at the Curragh. So maybe he's a Commonwealth Cup horse. Would be one to look forward for the winter.
Okay, Jamie, thank you very much for your thoughts. Really good. Thank you.
Thank you.